Welcome back to To Love Anime Review Part 4. I believe this is Part 4. This was discussing episodes 18 to 21. Now, the thing with these episodes are, 3 out of 4 of these episodes are complete anime original. Yep. 20 actually is adapted from the manga, believe it or not. Yes. These episodes basically are still standalone stories. Man, it's been a while since I come across an anime that's very continuous. Yeah. I think the last one I did basically was like that. Yep. Now what happens in these episodes? Well, various things happen. Like, for example, I think it's an episode... I think it's like 19, I think it is. Let me look up here. Yeah, they had a few different things happen here. Like, they had an episode where they go to a hot spring. Yeah, apparently Lala really wanted to go to hot spring. And she wanted to create her own in Rito's backyard. So she decided to build herself a big giant drill to go pretty much to the Earth's core. Yeah, that's what she did. And basically, apparently, well, Rito was asked to get her a drink while she's building her drill. So he runs into a couple of girls from school, Mia, I don't remember the other name. And just by sheer coincidence, they just happen to tell Darkness, their beautiful, the smoking hot nurse, Darkness, and Haruna basically decided to tag along. Yep. So, and of course, Soriichi decided to tag along too because just cuz. So finish the thing, and they drills. The thing works surprisingly, and it digs all over the place to find some buried treasure. Nope, not what she's looking for. Second thing we come across, Atlantis. Oh, it's so nice to be famous. Nope. Keep digging, and then they come across like this man-made tunnel, and they come across a fork in the road. Like to the right, it's dinosaurs. To the left, it's a suburban kingdom, which they do go back to, believe it or not. Then finally, they come to the hot springs, where they have it where 4 of the girls decide to hang out one hot spring, while Darkness and the nurse go to a different hot spring, a red water hot spring, which is the hottest out of all of them. And it's pointed out, though, by the teacher that this thing is like way too hot for humans, so look how she's an alien. What species she is, don't know. And apparently she has no problem with seeing 2 guys who are younger than she is completely naked yet. She has no problem with it at all. Everyone else has a problem with it, but not her. Nope. Also, Rito and Syringy get this one tiny hole for them to bathe in, while in the case of the girls, they get all over the place. Well, eventually Syringy gets bored, so he decides to check out the other ones, though he does tease the other 2 of the girls. And then eventually he ends up in the pool with, well, first they had him with Darkness, which she sends him flying, and then Syringy basically just happens to be, like, not even Syringy. And they hang out there for a bit, and then, of course, Lala decides to make a connection to Rito's house by keep drilling. Ends up in the Earth's freaking core, causing lava, and, of course, everybody going back to the surface wearing nothing but towels. They leave all their stuff behind, all their clothes, everything. And eventually got back to the surface, zero problem. Yep. And that was, I believe it was like episode 19, I think it was. Because I just finished, yes, I did finish watching these episodes. I do, let's see if I can find it here. Like 19, I know 20, and 20, 21, I know with those 2. Let's see. Where are you? Okay, 18 is basically an interesting one to say the least. First starts off with a mysterious package that arrives at the school on the school roof. And the nurse checks it out. It's like, oh, this is not for me. And then she comes to class it was like 5 minutes. It was like, and of course everybody's falling. Even the male teacher is drooling all over her. And of course she has no problem with these guys gawking at her because she's hot. Like, hey, Lala, can you come to the roof when you finish your class? She's like, sure. So she, Syringy, and Rito go to the roof. And it's a package for her. What's that of it? A cat. A alien cat. It turns out it's a woman and she's pregnant. Eventually, Serenji decides to... they bring it to the nurse office. Apparently, the nurse is absent on most of the episode for a reason. Darkness is just happily there just because. And by the way, Darkness is in of the 4 episodes, she's actually in 3 out of 4 of them. Yeah, and it's like and they're all anime original because she doesn't appear that much in the at this point in the manga when she first showed up. Yep. So then eventually, of course, the cat goes into labor. So Renji basically decides to help her out, and she gives birth to a baby boy. And she took out a hit. She basically agreed to take the hit to kill the princess. And they don't reveal exactly who the heck hired her. Yes, who the heck hired her to kill Lala? They never reveal that in this episode. And it's all things about Serenji, about him possibly a gift to go out the world. And they think he's got a girlfriend, he really doesn't. And the thing ends with basically her going out to space, and that's it. Yep, nothing really to try to bright hope with this one. It's just interesting little character bit for Serenji, and that was it. 19, quite interesting episode this one was. Now, what about 21? Not 21. Let's go 20. 20! Magical Girl episode. And I looked it up. This character is apparently based upon a character from the Black Cat manga. Have I read Black Cat? No, I haven't. I've never read it. And this character, English dub, is voiced by Monica Rial. Hooray! Monica Rial. Love her work. This is the 28th series I've heard her in, believe it or not. Yeah, 28. Wow, that's quite something. I like Jen Marsari, where it's like 30. Yep. So, basically, this whole episode is focused on her. By the way, Rito and Lala in the episode at the end. Because this whole thing is like an episode of her show where she just transforms. And of course, they had the fan service thing. Oh, I forgot to mention for 19. All the girls are seen completely naked in this episode. Not just Lala. She's frequently seen naked. As far as I can tell for this series, for Haruna, I think this is the 3rd time in the series you see her naked. But in the case of everybody else, first time. Yes, first time. Also, the rich girl shows up briefly in the episode, but she shows up for a brief little cameo, and that's it. Not like a brief 2-second cameo. Oh no, like a full minute. Yep. So in the case of this one, it's like, okay, let's have her get changed and transforms to a magical girl. Now, even though, yes, this character is based on a character from Black Cat, appearance-wise, I would say this character is similar to a character from Rosario Plus Vampire. Which one? The witch of that group of monsters. Yeah, somehow a witch is considered a monster in Rosario Plus Vampire. So give me despite the fact having a different voice actor, she looks very similar to her. And she tries to, there's a gag like, oh yeah, the gag get changed because one of her enemies basically is happily in town giving people afros. An effort to take over the world. Apparently, her organization is strapped for cash, so send him on a bus instead of using whatever vehicle he's normally having. So she transforms. She tries to do a, like, oh, is this a sex transformation sequence? No, she just changes clothes, like with the Clark Kent Superman from the Christopher Reeve movies. So first she goes behind a building, get changed. Then she's caught where she sits down to her underwear, and then she tries to change in the ladies' room. All the stalls are full. And then eventually get changed in the guy's room. Now, the thing is, she also finds an upperclassman who she's got a thing for. She also slaps him too, which I'm thinking, wow, that's quite something. I mean, he's got a thing for her too, so why couldn't she have a problem with him seeing her naked or, let's say, in her underwear? Yes, she has a problem with it. So she uses her firepower to burn his hair, and he runs away, though apparently she's taken away by the fire chief, who is the school principal. I don't know if he's flipping the same guy. Basically, he's also a pervert, just like the principal is. And basically, it was ordered. And apparently, they had this thing. Oh yeah, because of the show, we have these various like stuff here. Now, in case you're curious, is this character from the manga? Yes, she first appeared in chapter 93. Though this episode is basically adapted from a short story from chapter 88.5. Which was basically made into this full episode. Yes, a single one-shot story was made for this episode, which is interesting to say the least. But at least you can say it's from an actual source material, unlike the rest of the episodes this bunch. And, burns his hair, runs away, brings back his mom, and there's this guy who was chasing around her upperclassmen. And it turns out this guy happens to be the villain's father. Yeah, and there's been a reconciling. Of course, it's real how they first met. And apparently she ended up with her classmate's older brother, because she cheated on him too, to make it even, for a reason. And they kind of go walk off, and that's it. Of course, she also does the whole thing. I heard she use hair back in afros, though she uses a fire, and of course the fire is easy to put out, and that's that. It's an interesting episode, but I kind of wish we had more here, but the villain is just nothing. He's basically nothing. Even like his plan. Oh, give our people afros for reasons. Yep. But in the case of the last one they have in here, this one basically is all about transforming the abandoned school building, which last appeared back in episode 17. It hadn't been that long, but at least they don't have the aliens spell. But the ghosts are here. Yeah, the sexy ghost is here. So they transform the condemned school building into a inn. Oh, and by the way, the school nurse basically convinces the principal, because he's a pervert, by showing off her sexy side. He's like, okay, no problem. If this principal was a pervert, he'd be like, do a little harder than that. And so, thanks to basically Zest and a couple of people who look like Secret Service agents, Trent's a hotel to accommodate for aliens. First guest is Darkness. Apparently, she's been staying over at the nurse's infirmary. This is a separate building she runs. So, and the thing goes well. Like, a couple of giants stop by. Then we have a couple of people who are not relative to the Earth's atmosphere. Also, the two giant women are apparently got holes in their legs for some reason. I'm not really sure why. Also, Rito decided to wash them to service. So they hire various people to basically service, like, have the ghost service the people from the other heaven part, which basically a ghost can basically survive the problem. Hire Meekid as the chef, which, okay, I get the reason why, because she's a good cook, so why not? And of course, Darkness being the maid, which not a bad idea for her to do. I mean, if she's not killing people, use her skills to make a bed. I mean, her hair can do that. Yep. Oh yeah, and also then we have these group of tiny people show up. Are these dwarves? No, they're just short aliens who just happen to be an old enemy of the Devilooks, and they wanted to use this inn as basically a strategize. Though Rita interrupts them and finds out, yeah, they're an old enemy of. Well, of course they said when I found out who Lala is, they basically start brawl with them. Which ends up wrecking the inn, and the whole thing was basically like, oh, let's have this inn so we can have aliens visit the planet. Not to invade it, just for enjoying relaxing vacation. All because basically the last place to open was apparently, oh, look on the map, it looks like it was open in Roswell, New Mexico of all places. I'm like, really? So the last alien resort on Earth in this particular world was in Roswell, New Mexico. Okay, fine, whatever. And, well, that's all I gotta say about these episodes. That's all that really happened. I mean, I gotta say that of these 4 episodes, I would say the weakest one is probably episode 18, because it didn't really accomplish much anything. 19, pure fun of an episode, good fan service. 20, kind of use more story here, though I thought it was quite odd that they kind of interrupt the story for this Omek, which is fine. Though it's nice to hear Monica Girl's voice in the series. It probably was going to be her only appearance in the series, because I should point out, though, that this is the only thing for True Love where it was ever dubbed. It's like, after I finish 26, that's it. Everything else is all subbed, which basically, when I get to the OVAs, that'll be the first thing to watch sub for this franchise. Because Sentai Film Work didn't bother to finish. Nope. Excuse me. So the 5th review for this one will discuss the last 5 episodes of the series. Yep. So yeah, that's it for Sick of You. Stay tuned for my next review, plus a comic corner. Yep. See you in the next video. Bye.